Here I am, there you are, and of course we're serving you the news review right before I reveal whom I have joining the conversation this morning. I'm just going to share with you how important it is to get yourself checked. I mean medically, okay? And that's why I'm offering for you Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Now they're offering free prostate screening if you're a man, free fertility screening if you're a woman. And here's where you can locate Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Let's start with here in Accra. They're at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. There's also Kumasi Kronomabwehia behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrady Anaji Estate. There's Tema Community 22. There's Techiman Hanso and Esiaman Zima. All you have to do now is pick up your phone and dial either of their two numbers. 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. But I have the pleasure now of introducing to you someone special, someone who's lifting high the flag of Ghana. He joins me for the news review this morning, and I'll also tell you about what exactly he's been doing, or better still, let him do that. He's a CNN Hero nominee. Osei Boateng is our guest. Mr. Boateng, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's good to have you join the conversation. I wish I could see you. I'm waiting for the connection to be better so I can actually see you in the background. But tell us a bit about this nomination and what exactly you do which has brought about this nomination.
Yeah, so my name is Osei Boateng, born and raised in Ghana, and I'm the founder of OKB Hope Foundation, a non-profit organization that is focused on bringing healthcare to rural and underserved communities. And so with the work that we do, we've served over 52 communities in Ghana, serving over 4,000 individuals across these communities. And it's because of this work that is why we've been nominated for the CNN Hero of the Year award.
Wow. And how many are you in all, those who have been nominated from across the world?
So we are 10 right now, so there are 10 people in the final round.
Wow, 10 of you in the final round. That's you're lifting very high the flag of Ghana. And I'm sure that you are anticipating that maybe, is there in this final round, is there going to be an ultimate winner?
Yeah, so there's going to be an ultimate winner. They are going to select one person for the CNN Hero of the Year award.
Okay. And we're hoping and praying. We're going to be fasting as well. It turns out to be you. And there he is. CNNheroes.com. The name is Osei Boateng, or the OKB Hope Foundation. And you can actually vote for him. Let me just find out for you, Osei Boateng. So for those who may want to vote you, how do they go about it?
Yeah, so they would have to go to cnnheroes.com. Once they get there, there's a link that shows that vote for your CNN Hero of the Year. Once they click on that link, it will show all the 10 finalists, and they can find my name, Osei Boateng, and they can click on the vote. Once they click on the vote, there will be a page that have a slider bar. They can just push the slider bar to 10, so each individual can cast 10 votes for us every day till December 5th, which is tomorrow.
Okay, so just to conclude, how many Africans are in there?
So I'm the only African in there.
Okay, so I had to clarify because I see other people of black extraction, but I wasn't sure whether they were from the continent. So you are the only African in there?
Yes, please.
Look, I know we have a big fan base, and some of you watch us from Sierra Leone, from Gambia, from Nigeria. Omo, vote for what a guy. It doesn't matter, he's the sole representative of Africa. So let's put ourselves together. I'm sure anyone from Africa can vote for you, right?
Yeah, everyone in Africa, everyone across the world can actually vote. Yeah, and voting is free.
Voting is free. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there a restriction to voting? Because I'm going to be voting for you today. And I'll be voting multiple times. In this election, I'm allowed to vote multiple times, right?
Yeah, as long as you have a valid email address or a Facebook account, that is all that we need.
All right. And once again, thanks for the good work you're doing, which is raising high the flag of Ghana. But two things I want to talk about before we get into the newspaper review this morning. And at the tail end, you can remind us about voting one more time. The first has to do with a certain George Quay. And I don't usually do this, but I was blown away yesterday. I've seen a number of plays in Ghana, and the artistry, the performances, the stagecraft, the stage itself, and the character of Odewale. Ekosam, my producer, please remind me of his name again, the person who played Odewale. Okay. What's the name? Andy Adote. Fantastic. I've seen him in other plays by Uncle Ibo White, but his performance here, George Quay came into the studio and told me that I had never seen a performance of Olarotimi's The Gods Are Not to Blame like I would see on Saturday and Sunday. And boy, did they deliver. I'm going to pray, GQ, George Quay, as we fondly call him, that he does this again sometime during the season. And again, that I get to take some other people who were offended that I did not take them this time, so that I can settle everybody along the way. The only other issue I want to add on the back of something I observed yesterday before we get into the papers, Ghana 4. So yesterday, I meant to top up on my fuel, but I had two things coinciding. And I told myself, I went for evening mass yesterday at church. I didn't go in the morning. I went for 6 p.m. mass. Then from there, I had to take a detour before heading to the National Theatre to enjoy this fantabulous play. In between, I forgot to top up on my fuel. My gauge was at 2, and it runs pretty quickly at that point. So it was getting to the end of the play that I realized, whoa, it's past 11 o'clock. Where am I going to get fuel? I was in a state of near panic. I tried to calm down. I checked online which filling stations. Some said, oh, they closed at 12 a.m. I went round and round from Adabraka to the Graphic Road to Coral Paints to many places. You know that one on the Liberia Road, I think, where Standard Chartered is or used to be? Total. They were closed. I'm not singling out anyone. They were closed. I literally had to go around until someone told me that there was a Zen, and I'm not trying to hype any filling station. I'm just saying what it is. Zen filling station around Coral Paints, heading back towards Adabraka. That was where I got to fill. So I was curious. I went there, was able to top up, and then I asked the fuel attendant. Unfortunately, I've lost his name, but there were two of them, a gentleman who served me and a lady. When they closed, and he told me they operated 24 hours. And I was stunned. Because this whole bit about a 24-hour economy and everything in between, like it or not, these are some of the things. I would have been stranded. My fuel gauge was on yellow. I would have been stranded. I probably wouldn't have got home. And these are some of the considerations. Some sectors truly must operate 24/7. And when I later on, when I got to the 37 area, that was when I noticed that while Total had been shut on the Liberia Road, they were open in the one at Maxmart. So at least that one was open. Goyle on that stretch was closed. All the other filling stations were closed. So in such an emergency, what will you do? Park your car and walk home? Food for thought. Anyway, I just thought I had to bring that up so that we would contemplate what this would really mean if we activated it properly. I'm saying properly in Ghana. But let's get into the papers now. The Ghanaian Times newspaper. At COP28 in Dubai, President woos world leaders to support climate change. Ahin, Hajide, Saki, Okoboy, others get nod. It's all about the voting in the orphan constituencies of the MPP. All set for Maiden Tourism Investment Summit tomorrow. Akotia named 2023 National Best Farmer. 600 delegates attend UN Peacekeeping Ministerial Confab tomorrow. On the back page, Mediama SC stunned CR Belouizdad, and they beat them by 2-1. Belouizdad actually took the lead, but Mediama scored 2 goals. One, I think, in the 94th minute, and that's how they beat them. Dreams FC also subdued Rivers United. All right, so Dreams FC recorded their first win at the league stage of the Confederations Cup as they administered a 2-1 on Rivers United from Nigeria. But if you look at the local league log, we have Aduana Stars still perched at the top with 24 points after 13 games, Ntwatriman with 24, Samatex with 23, Nations with 20, and let's see, Asante Kotoko in 7th, Krobia, my very own Krobia Asante Kotoko in 7th place with 12 matches played, so they have a game in hand. And there's also Hearts of Oak, who have played an extra game, and they are in 9th place with 16 points as well. Okay, so let's do this, Mr. Boateng. I'll start with these stories, starting from page 6. President Akufo-Addo has called on the international community, both public and private, to partner with Ghana to implement its country package under the Forest and Climate Leaders Partnership, dubbed Resilient Ghana, Advancing Climate Action for Prosperity. He said the urgency to implement forest solutions to tackle climate change required that the world comes together to mobilize support for nature-positive action. This is where I'm going to pause and ask you, Osei Boateng, as a young Ghanaian, I don't know whether how often you reside here. When you look at the state of our forest cover over the last how many years has been depleted alarmingly. There's Galamsey. Sometimes I listen to our leaders go to these COPs, okay? COP 26, COP 27, COP 28, Glasgow, Egypt, now Dubai, and talk fancy, wax lyrical, but the state of affairs, what do you make of it?
Yeah, so I believe that there should be more action than talking. Definitely, it is easy to, definitely talk about all these ideas, which are great, but I believe there should be more action on the ground.
Right.
And with the issue with climate change, it's very important that we also consider the environment, because that also affects a lot of lives if we don't take good care of our environment. For example, some of the communities that we visit, some of them don't even have potable source of water to drink. And so even if you go there to give them medical care, we know that the root cause of the situation is the water that they are drinking. And so we cannot handle the work alone when it comes to healthcare. Everything is interrelated. And so I believe that there should be more action in that particular field. Yeah.
And that reminds me of something I saw over the weekend put together by Arosha Ghana. They've been at the forefront of protecting our environment, at the forefront of releases to defend and protect our natural parks, among others. I remember how vociferous they had been when it came to the Etiwa range. So I saw an open letter from them, open letter to Shatta Wale, season of fun, inspiration, and hope, not distraction. It goes on, but it talks about, so Shatta Wale had put out his plan for the month of December. And of course, Shatta Wale being the star that he is, with the sort of draw that he gets, has quite a number of items planned. But one of them, on the 8th of this month, is the launch of the Elembele community mining. And Arosha Ghana feels already there are so many problems with that. And so they were calling on him to rather use his gravitas, his pull as an artiste, not to support such things that eventually also damage our environment. Because of the subject, I just had to bring that in as well. And good morning to Darrow Bosu and the entire Arosha team and all the work you're doing to protect our natural resources. But let's get into other stories now. When we go to page 10, how much do you follow the politics, Osei Boateng?
I follow it pretty well. Try to read the news every time I wake up in the morning. So, yeah. Okay.
So then you would have known about the orphan constituencies of the MPP. And guess what? In different places, well, different strokes for different folks. And we have some faces emerging. MPP orphan constituencies parliamentary primaries. Ahin, I'm talking about Eugene Ahin, Pius Enam, Hajide. Then there's Saki. There's Jefferson Saki, Okoboy, Dr. Okoboy, get the nod. So you would notice that in crucial areas, for example, Okaikwe North, that feats there by Nana Madukia. Then there's also Adenta, and that is getting very interesting because Adamu Ramadan of the NDC will now have to lock horns with Akosua Menu. And She appears to be bringing some heat there. Interestingly, in that constituency, they never repeat a parliamentarian, let me put it that way, not a candidate, a parliamentarian. But would Adamu Ramadan be the first person to retain that spot? In Ablekuma Central, interestingly, Jefferson Saki was there. Esio Jaman, he was ousted. Now he's found his way back. Pius Enam, Hajide. Another interesting one, like I mentioned, was Lejokuku, Dr. Okoboy, who lost that seat in the last election. This time he didn't get a ministerial appointment, but he is CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority. Barbara Oting JC also getting the nod in Prestia, Huni Valley, and then Eugene Ahin, who speaks for the presidency, getting the Ewutu Senya West seat. Another interesting one was Keno Kwejo Damwa, retired, of course. He won the German South seat, and some interesting dynamics there. But some have asked, they may have won the battle. Will they win the war? On the other hand, Osei, before you come in, there was also this bit about bribery and corruption in some areas. Yes, there was Seche Dumase. I believe there was also Ablekuma Central with Jefferson Saki, the other gentleman, is it Clinton, among others, or is it Collins? Collins, I guess that's his name, with envelopes with their names on it, some containing wads of money, 3/10 with food being distributed. Now the OSP has invited these people. What do you think about all of this? Is it possible to root out bribery, corruption, or influence in our politics? This is local level, like parliamentary primaries, and this is how it gets. Imagine when it heats up in the main election.
Yeah, so I would say that is going to be tough, to be honest. That is going to be tough to really eliminate that. But I think it's possible that we can do that, but I believe it's going to be tough, seeing how that is really part of all the things that we do in terms of politics. So, I mean, from my perspective, it's very difficult to root that out.
Well, it will be very difficult, but like you said, it can be done. But oftentimes when we have this conversation, we focus on those who are giving, aka the politicians. But it's a crime both ways, both the giver and the receiver. The recipient is also culpable. So if we stop taking, it's demand and supply. If someone supplies and you don't demand, because one of those, pointed at by the OSP, the person literally said, no cash, no vote. That's what the person said on camera. No cash, no vote. So if you have people with such a mentality, then of course there will be a market for such a commodity, and that is what we ought to look at. So while we condemn those acts from the politicians, we also have to do some introspection, look at ourselves and say, how are we contributing to the problem? There is Akotia named 2023 National Best Farmer, a 57-year-old woman, Charity Akotia from the Agona West municipality in the Central Region. Last Friday emerged the overall best farmer at the 39th edition of National Farmers Day. She received a cash prize of 1 million Ghana cedis sponsored by the Agriculture Development Bank, while Theophilus Ezenrane Aka from Nzulizo in the Western Region, who was the first runner-up, received a horsepower tractor head trailer, a set of implements, and a boom sprayer. And if you wondered why I said Nzulezo instead of Nzulezu, that's because I hear that's how it's pronounced. And the next NDC government will prioritize farmers' welfare. That's according to former President Mahama. Any comments on these before I move on?
So I don't have any comments on that, but I think, as you said, definitely there are some things that we as a country need to take a very close look at, and that one being the bribery and the corruption part of what you said. It's something that is very important that we need to look at and make sure to eliminate if possible.
All right, let's get into the Daily Guide newspaper. They also go back to the National Best Farmer bit, and then they say, we'll take most orphan seats. That's according to Baumia, the vice president. But of course, talk is cheap. We'll see how the elections pan out. And on both sides, I can say that because you look at the NDC and some inroads they made in the last elections, and you will see that if they are not careful, it's a slippery slope in some of those constituencies. They could easily lose. And I mentioned one of them, Adenta with its history of not repeating parliamentarians. But again, for the MPP as well, there are quite some problems. If you look at their losses, the net losses from 169, okay, and where they fell to and how the NDC caught up, no one can rest on their oars and say that, oh, we're going to win most of the orphan constituencies. Some of those constituencies had been for the MPP for a long time, and they fell to the NDC in the last election. So this talk about we'll take most orphan seats, well, I'm not a politician, but when the time comes, Alan's butterfly shakes Kumasi. That story is on page 3. We saw them clad in yellow, awash, painting Kumasi yellow. But it reminds me of a quote from yesterday in Olarotimi's The Gods Are Not to Blame. There's also a saying that the butterfly considers itself a bird. Anyway, that's just by the by. No mischief intended. So let's get into the stories. The flag bearer of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has expressed confidence that the party will take the majority of orphan seats from the NDC in the 2024 elections. The MPP held elections on Saturday to elect parliamentary candidates for the 2024 general election in constituencies where the party has no MPs, popularly known as orphan constituencies. Then, the political landscape in the Ashanti region witnessed a dramatic shake-up with a young but vibrant movement for change, which took over the streets with Afafanto Walk in Kumasi. If you don't know what Afafanto is, for those of you watching, it is a butterfly in tree. Well, the walk saw several residents and political players joining the MFC train to back Alan Chebating, the founder of Movement for Change. This political wave, engineered by Mr. Chebating and characterized by its dominant yellow color, marked a significant departure from established norms in the region and is rapidly gaining momentum ahead of the 2024 general elections. For me, Mr. Boateng, I look forward to the 2024 elections for different reasons, but one of them, as a student of politics, I'm very interested in these new dynamics. A former president wanting to become president again. It's never happened in our jurisdiction, at least not in this Fourth Republic, and as far as I remember. Then you have, for the first time, the MPP selecting a flag bearer who is of northern extraction, another novelty. Then you have a breakaway. The second time it's happened with Alan Chebating, but this time it appears to be pretty serious. And he's set up a movement, and he's drawing crowds. It's going to be an interesting context. I mean, for someone like me, it's mouth-watering. I am itching to see how things go. What is your take?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I think it will be a very interesting elections. Looking at the incidents that have happened with the movement, now with what is currently also happening with the Alan Chebating movement. So I think it will be very, very interesting because it wouldn't be as easy as people are going to think it would. And it can go in any direction, which, I'm yet to see who would take the lead, but you can't say for sure who's going to win.
All right. Let's also get into other stories here. Ugandan woman, 70, gives birth to twins. There's nothing God cannot do, right? A 70-year-old woman has given birth to twins following IVF treatment. A hospital in Uganda has said. Her name is Safina Namukwaya. Delivered a boy and a girl via cesarean section at a fertility center in the capital, Kampala. Congratulations to her. Guinea-Bissau foiled attempted coup. That's according to the president. And these coups have gone in vogue. They are in vogue now, unfortunately, on the back of bad leadership. Of course, no bad leadership warrants a coup, but when things hit the wall or hit the proverbial fan, these are some of the things that unfortunately happen. In recent times, I've seen talks of, I think Guinea is not in there, but it's Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger strengthening their ties. And these are all coup-led nations that have had democratic institutions ousted by military leaders. And now they are banding together for their own safety, for their own economic development. I don't know when this is going to end, but let's see how things go. And finally, deadly explosion rocks mass at Philippines University. I'm talking about a Catholic mass. I was so sad yesterday at mass because a number of people were killed. And 4 people killed in an explosion at a Catholic Mass in the southern Philippines on Sunday morning. The incident occurred at the gymnasium of Mindanao State University in Marawi, the country's largest Muslim city. 42 others suffered mostly minor wounds, authorities said, adding the situation was under control. Religious tolerance, yeah? Religious tolerance. I'll not go into, I don't want to scrape or rub raw any religious sentiments in there, but it's sad. And per the reports, we all know where it's pointing towards: radicalism. Anyway, any reactions before I get into the Finder newspaper and we get ready to wrap?
Yeah, so I would say my thoughts and prayers are with the people. I mean, I know that is a very sad moment, and so my prayers and my thoughts and condolences to everyone who have their loved ones who went through this. Yeah.
The Finder newspaper, all set for Maiden Tourism Investment Summit tomorrow. High Court grants Vomawo extra time in Kandapar case. You remember, so the accusation that there had been an attempt to bribe him. Let me just get to the story so we can grab the details very quickly. The High Court has granted an extension to Mr. Oliver Bakavomawo, who failed to meet the court's deadline for submitting his statement of defense in the defamation case brought against him by Albert Kandapar, National Security Minister of Ghana. The legal dispute originated from allegations made by Mr. Bakavomawo, who claimed that during a meeting with Mr. Kandapar, he was offered a substantial sum of $1 million to cease his activism. This was ahead of that last demonstration. That was the Occupy Julobi House demonstration. In response to these accusations, the National Security Minister issued a statement denying the bribery claims. And let me be clear, I say Occupy Julobi House because that was the hashtag, that was the name of the demonstration, before people misquote me or take me the other way. Then there's also UAE grants Ghana $30 million as President Akufo-Addo rallies world leaders to support nature-positive actions to tackle climate change. Ayo. Methodist Church Ghana honors Irene Natoshi and Ewuku, that is Sami Ewuku, acclaimed parliamentary candidate of Ekuapem North. Let me take that story on page 9 and then we can make tracks in addition to the first one I read. So, in a bid to bolster Ghana's tourism industry and attract significant investment, the Maiden Tourism Investment Summit is set to take place tomorrow. The summit, organized by the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, is supported under the Ghana Tourism Development Project in collaboration with the Ghana Tourism Development Company and other agencies. It aims to bring together key stakeholders in the tourism value chain. Well, good luck to my friend Dr. Awal on that one. Any reactions? I'll say.
So I would say that definitely there's a lot of work to be done, and hopefully the amount of money that the country is receiving from UAE would be put into good use and be able to better the life of the people in the country.
All right. And finally, the Today newspaper, fresh SHS students to report to school today. And there's also Ghana's corruption fights don't resign. Vitus Azim tells special prosecutor. The special prosecutor says, yes, there are frustrating things, but he's not frustrated and he will not resign. That is what he's saying. But the last time I saw him, you could tell he was a deeply troubled man. And some would say corruption is fighting back at him, like Martin Alamisi Benskaiza Amidu made mention of some time back. What do you feel about the fight against corruption? And I don't know whether you followed the latest when it comes to the special prosecutor. That's the last story we'll look at.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, the fight for corruption is something that we need to take a very close look at. I think it's something that is plaguing our country, and so it's very important that we have the structure in the institutions to be able to at least eliminate or address that. And so I'm really excited about what the special prosecutor is doing in order to really address the people who are doing this, doing these activities.
All right. So, Osei Boateng, this is how we're capping off the conversation. But I'll leave you again just to give us a reminder of what you are doing, lifting high the flag of Ghana, and how people can vote for you as a CNN Hero nominee. Walk us through it one more time, right before we go.
So the work that we do is to bring healthcare to underserved and rural communities in Ghana, providing them with free medical care, especially for those individuals that don't have hospital in their community or individuals that have to travel several miles to the nearest hospital. Our vision is to make sure that everyone has access to timely and quality healthcare. And because of this, our work has been selected by the CNN Heroes program, and we are now vying for the CNN Hero of the Year, which now depends on the public. We depend on the public voting in order to secure the CNN Hero of the Year, which will give us additional resources to be able to extend our care to additional rural and underserved communities across Ghana.
All right. I see you, Susanna Manoa Ankra. You say, I'm looking sharp this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you, Osei Boateng, for joining the conversation. I'm sure we'll be able to have a conversation again before D-Day. But Susan says, please raise a topic on ATM machines in some areas in Accra. Just like the petrol drama that you mentioned, it's a headache at times when trying to withdraw money at night, especially over the weekends. Most machines are empty. And this is where the 24-hour economy could be beneficial to the public than waiting for the banks to return on Monday before getting cash. Just this weekend, I went to 5 ATMs with no success from Atomic all the way to Kwabenya, and it's an ongoing occurrence. That is what Na Amanua Ankra shares with me this morning. My mind hadn't even been averted to that. I've not really withdrawn money that late before, but this is what she is sharing. Finally, I also want to do this before we get into sports. I'd like to salute the CEO of Dawa Dawa Jollof Delight, located in Adenta, Madam Rabiatu. You gave me some fantabulous, delectable Dawa Dawa Jollof the other day. Yes, I'm using my cratchy powers to shout her out. And some TZ as well. So if you're looking for any TZ, Dawa Dawa Jollof, and it comes with guinea fowl, all of that, look no further. Dawa Dawa Jollof Delight is located in Adenta, and you can reach them on 0249 517 108. 0249 517 108. Thank you once more, Madam Rabiatu, and thank you, Osei Boateng, for joining the conversation. But before we get into sports, how about we do this? You know, we've been telling you about Drapa Dubai, right? Cozy Hills Hotel. Well, we're connecting there right now. I have a colleague standing by to give us a little teaser of what we can expect. Where are you now, if I may ask? Maxwell Agbagba, take it away.
This place, this Cozy Hills Hotel, has become the big magnet attracting people from all walks of life from different parts of the country to the Upper West region. It is the jewel in the Upper West region, giving people a proper feel and a proper taste of Africa. If you want to experience safari, I've been telling my friends who've not visited this place. Yesterday, Benjamin, I posted some videos of zebras and lions on my WhatsApp status, and I got many people asking me, wait, Maxwell, is this? They were mentioning actually another country, and I told them, no, this is right here in Ghana, right here in the Upper West region. And you get to experience all of that here at the Royal Cozy Hills Hotel. We're just some meters away from the hotel itself. Now we are in the Safari Ranch, where later today we'll be taking you to see, we get to see the lions. Yes, the lions are just about 500 meters away from where I'm standing. The lion's den is there. We have about 4 of them in the lion's den right now. In some minutes or in some hours, we get to see them, Benjamin. But what you can see right now are ostriches. And yesterday I was here with the tour manager, Aziz Topo, who told me that they are not harmful, they are not aggressive, unlike some of the animals here that are, harmful. Some of them are actually caged. And in fact, the hippos are caged. 2 of them yesterday, we saw them coming out from the water here. And Aziz has been telling me a lot. The tour manager has been telling me a lot. He told me that the hippos can eat as much as 40 kilograms a day. Yes, 40 kilograms of food. But because they are herbivores, so usually they feed on grass and then shrubs and all of that. So when he mentioned 40 kilograms, I was actually thinking 40 kilograms, if I'm to measure that in terms of my favorite food, my favorite banku, how many balls of banku would give me 40 kilograms, worth of food? But we saw the hippos yesterday. They are, aggressive, so they've been caged. In fact, most of the cages that have, the aggressive animals have been electrified. So Aziz, the tour manager, assured us that even if the animals try getting out, they get electrified and then they'll go back. So it's actually safe to be here. But these ostriches that you're seeing, we're told that they can run as much as 70 kilometers per hour. Yes, 70 kilometers per hour. You can call it Usain Bolt Pro Max. Definitely, that's what, they are. Their eggs, I'm told, can be eaten. Yesterday, Aziz told me that, yes, their eggs can be eaten. He talked about a lot of them, here, and how this is serving as an attraction for people who want to see animals in their natural habitat. It's not just the ostriches that you get to see when you visit the Royal Cozy Hotel. You get to see the lions. Like I mentioned yesterday, I saw the African giant tortoise, which has a lifespan, I'm told, of about 100 years. The one that I saw yesterday was about 63 years. So I saw grandma tortoise and I saw grandpa tortoise, 63 years. And, very calm, not aggressive, animals. I also saw the impala yesterday. Quite a lot, to see here at the African, at this safari ranch, I should see. Like I mentioned, just some meters away, we have the lions in their natural habitat. And one thing that you should note is that it actually costs a lot to keep these animals here. Yes, it costs a lot. The tour manager yesterday told me that they have to feed the lions 3 times a day. And guess what they feed them with? 3 times a week. They feed them with 3 cattle every day, like every week. So every week, so let's say if they feed them on Monday with 1 cow, yes, Wednesday they feed them with another cow, and then another time they feed them with another cow. So in 1 week, they get to feed these lions that they're keeping here with 3 cattle, 1 week. That definitely costs, a lot of money. But the tour manager says that it is important to keep them healthy. Of course, we've all seen pictures of, some lions out there. They didn't look healthy. They looked pale. They looked malnourished. He says that to keep them healthy and to, lions are naturally aggressive people. Did I say people? Yes, definitely people. They are naturally aggressive, animals. So he says that if you don't feed them, they become more aggressive. So that's why it's important for them to feed them. Every week, 3 cattle for the lions. In some hours or in some minutes, we'll get to see all of the animals, that we have here. But it's important for you, to come here to see it for yourself. Yesterday, I got closer. For the very first time, I got very closer. 50 meters, very close to a zebra in its natural habitat. I've never had that experience before. It was the first time I was seeing the Lion King roar. Yeah, I saw all of that yesterday. I got very close to the ostriches. Let me get closer to this one. The tour guide told me that he can actually give me a peg. Okay, can I get a peg? Oh no. Maybe later, Benjamin. So there's a lot to see here at the Royal Cozy Hills Hotel. And this is the Safari Ranch. It sits on a large swathe of land. Like I mentioned, the hotel is just some meters away from where I'm standing. But this is the Safari Ranch. There's a lot to see. These are ostriches. Later, we get to see the lions. We get to interact with the tour manager here, who's going to give us a lot of insight into what happens here at this Safari Ranch. So over to you, Benjamin.
Well, thank you very much, Maxwell. Yes, I want to be in your place. It's not exactly the best thing to say, but at this moment, I would say that I'm jealous of Maxwell Akbagba. He's having all the fun in Japa, Dubai. Of course, the Cozy Hills Hotel, you could make your way there. How about maybe this Christmas, right? Or even if not this Christmas, there are many festive seasons. There's Easter, there are the 2 Eids and all of that. Or maybe at some point, one thing we're not very good at in this country is making time to go out. It could be you with some friends, you with your loved ones, you with family. Just take some time off. Stash a little bit of cash. Stash some cash. Take a little, go somewhere. The stress is a lot. Sometimes you need. Yesterday, after all the stress of the past week and working on Saturday, watching George Quay's play got me to calm down a bit. Sometimes you need to wash away part of the stress. So you take care of that. Later on the program today, we'll take you back to Drapa at the Cozy Hills Hotel to give you more of a feel of what exactly awaits you when you get there. But for now, let's get into sports. A certain Erling Haaland was not happy with their match that ended in a draw. He literally or virtually attacked the referee. More of that action coming up in sports.